to the top of the hour East African time. It is time to bring you up to speed on what has been taking shape in the world of news here on TV 47 News Now. But first, the highlights. Government having trouble to pay salaries as Cabinet Secretary Treasury Njuguna Ndung'u reveals the country is facing serious liquidity crisis. Basic Education Principal Secretary Bello Kipsang maintains KCPE met all thresholds and the hitches witnessed was a result of errors by the SMS service providers. One person killed, several goats killed in Lamu County in what is suspected to be a terrorist attack.
Tayari sisi Lamu tuko na changamoto ya usalama ambapo tuko na external aggression, kumekuwa na attacks hapa na pale. Welcome to the broadcast on this day, the 6th day of December, the year being 2023. My name is Moige William. I hope that you had a good day. Now, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, has asked MPs to bear with the National Treasury over delayed disbursement of the National Government Constituency Development Funds, as the government is facing a serious financial crunch to even afford paying salaries. The CS, who appeared before the National Assembly's Finance and Planning Committee, say the government is under pressure not to default on any debt payments, among them the Eurobond, which are about to mature. MPs had decried public pressure from their respective constituencies due to delayed disbursement of NG-CDF funds.
Kenya has gone into two extremes. There's a severe drought, and now there is El Nino. In both cases, we have reallocated budget, a supplementary budget, and recurrent budget, and even development budget to save lives, in both cases. At the same time, because those extremes also create a recession, we are not getting adequate tax revenues. So you can imagine, in fact, if the chairman can tell you, when you devour the development budget, it means that you remove the capacity for even future growth. So in a sense, we are struggling just to be on the same position. And that's why we actually, that's the same message I had in Marrakech, was that we are facing a serious liquidity crisis, and that is why we can't come in as fast as we would like to. But it's not a solvency problem. But sometimes people are rushed to say, we want the money today, otherwise you are dead on arrival. Sorry for using that word. But you end up taking measures to solve the problem, but those measures are not well coordinated and they can actually ignite solvency challenges. We want to avoid that. But we are working very hard so that even before Christmas, we make sure that we make some few steps. By the way, I can tell you, we are even having trouble with salaries. We are clearing salaries with arrears. Okay, just imagine that. The first thing we can do, and you are familiar with this story, is that we cannot default on external debt because our credibility is going to be ruined. It takes the first charge. But the team in the Treasury are working very hard. In fact, that's what I started looking at in the morning. I was even called by the governor in Nairobi County telling me that, look, I'm going to be impeached. What are we going to do? I have not given salaries. You can imagine it's a liquidity issue which is short term, but we are going to get there. We are going to get there very soon. We are working very hard round the clock to make sure that we are doing that. Most countries have recognized what kind of the economies like ours, especially in the Horn of Africa, are facing the same problem, and they're coming up with budget support. We are signing supports from different countries. So we are going to ride over this. But in the meantime, we are just begging for a little bit of time. We are working 24 hours to make sure that we resolve this. And we want to make sure that how we resolve it also does not ignite solvency challenges. So we're going to be there.
However, from that, the Ministry of Education maintains there were no errors in the marking of KCPE. Basic Education Principal Secretary Bello Kipsang, NEC CEO David Njegere, while appearing before the Parliamentary Education Committee, instead blamed the error on the SMS service providers. PS Kipsang defended the SMS option, saying it is preferred by many who ignore the visiting of the school portal to check results. Parents who feel aggrieved have up to 60 days to raise any concerns with the Kenya National Examination Council.
When you see the research slip that we print from the school portal, it says professional results. When it becomes confirmed results, we cannot alter it. It will go to the next level. Either the kid will go to court, or once we constitute a tribunal, and when you see the presidential working party has come out very clearly that we shall have education tribunal which will handle all issues in the education sector, including examinations. So this, as we are trying to cure this through the presidential working party report, so that there is this tribunal which will now be activated through yourselves, because we shall present the bill and all the necessary documentation to be dealt with through Parliament. But the results that we give on the day that we are releasing are provisional results. Until those results are confirmed and become results, at that point we still have those 30 days within which to correct any errors that might be the caps that we are saying, because we cannot fail to activate a cap that is there when we have been able to identify what the cause of that cap is. I want to leave it at that, Mheshimiwa.
All right, apologies for that. Elsewhere, residents of Tana River are facing a humanitarian crisis due to floods. Kenya Red Cross Regional Manager Hassan Musa says though they have been able to assist those currently displaced by floods, the numbers are rising daily. Tens of villages are submerged while others are completely cut off downstream in the delta following increased water levels. For the first time, villages such as Ozi, Kaushirikisho and Chamwanamuma, among others in the Tana Delta, which are on higher grounds, have been affected, with locals being forced to move to safer grounds.
Siku ya leo Tana River katika sehemu ya Kau imeweza kusombwa na maji sehemu nyingi sana, zikiwemo sehemu za Kau, Ozi, Shirikisho, Chamwanamuma. Hizi sehemu ambazo mara nyingi huwa zinakuwa ziko juu, lakini kwa sasa hivi maji haya yameweza kufika na watu wameweza kuwa displaced. Kwa hiyo tunaomba watu waweze kutoka, na sasa hivi kama shirika la Msalaba Mwekundu tumeweza kuwasaidia wale watu ambao katika zile camps, lakini ukweli ni kwamba hizi camps ni nyingi sana kiasi cha kuwa hata uwezo unaanza kudidimia.
Tunatarajia kwamba mvua ikinyesha huwa kuna maji kiasi ambao ndio huwa inakuja, na zile sehemu zetu ambazo tuna za makazi haziathirika na maji. Lakini kwa wakati huu ukweli maji yamekuja kupita kiasi. Sehemu zetu zote zimeathirika na maji, maeneo ya wakaaji na pia maeneo yale ambao tunatoa chakula, yote vyakula vimeenda na maji.
Tunaangalia situation vile ilivyo mpaka dakika hii, hatujui ni siku gani mambo kama haya yatakuja kuisha. Na tunahangaika kila njia, tukifika hapa makazi yetu inasimama, hatujui ni kitu gani tutafanya, na tukiangalia tuko na family.
All right, still on the floods watch, at least 700 households have been displaced by floods in Nyatike. Those affected are in schools and churches and are in dire need of food, drugs and nets to enable them survive under the harsh, cold and devastating conditions. According to the North Kadem member of County Assembly, Samuel Olima Obonyo, the funds set aside by the County Assembly are not enough.
Because of the heavy rains that we have received. And this was because we also receive waters from two rivers. All the rains from Kisii, Migori, all of them end up at the lake through River Migori and through River Kuja. As it is, in fact, all those rivers have burst their banks and they are pouring water into homes. So far, I've received report that over 700 households have been so far displaced by the waters. And some people are camping at certain points. We have Ngugo, Pefa, where people are camping. Then we also have people from Kabutu also now camping towards Nyakweri.
All right, and away from the floods watch, more comprehensive details in our subsequent bulletin. Let us take a look at this, where a 2-month-old baby boy was found abandoned in a bush by the road at GOtv village in Kirinyaga Central Sub-County. According to Kirinyaga County firefighters, led by Shujaa John Kiama, the baby was found lying in a bush by two girls. Residents led by Esther Michere says they then contacted the area assistant chief. Michere says at first they thought the baby was with his mother, but on entering over 100 meters in the virgin land, they found the baby boy lying in the dirt wearing 5 pairs of clothes and sweating. Kirinyaga police officers were also informed and arrived immediately and took the baby to Kirinyaga County Referral Hospital. Police say they have launched investigations into who abandoned her baby.
Kwa majina ni Yvonne. Nilikuwa nimeenda kusindikisha rafiki yangu, tukasikia mtoto analia. Tukafikiria huyo mtoto ako na mamake, lakini hakuwa na mamake. Tulichukua hatua ya kwenda kuita wazazi wetu ili wakuje wachukue huyo mtoto and then wapigie chifu wa iki kijiji
na kuokoa watu. Kama wakati wa saa 8 hivi tumepigiwa simu, ofisa wangu anaitwa Kawa akapigiwa simu akaambiwa kuna mtoto amepatikana kwa kichaka njia ya Getwe, na wakati ameniambia tukakunya na gari biubiu ili tukunje tuokoe hii maisha. Tukakuta mtoto kalionekana na huyu manda mwanaitwa Yvonne, akatueleza vile alisikia katoto kakilia akiwa anapita kwa barabara. Alafu akaenda akaambia mama yake, tukapigiwa simu, tukakuja. Sasa tunataka kuokoa hii katoto. Na jamani, hii katoto ni kamfulana na hii mbegu ya mvulana haionekani. Watu waache kutesa watoto kama wavulana hivi, kwa sababu hii ndio kiongozi wa kesho. Na hii mtoto ampeleka hospitali sasa apate matibabu, akiwa na matibabu yoyote ili awe mtu mzima.
It's a boy child around 2 to 3 months old, and the child is in good state, good health. However, the child seemed to be hungry, and that is why the child was crying. And I would wish to really castigate the issue that someone decided to throw away a healthy baby. And it is important that we tell our youth, either the ladies and the gents, if God blesses you with a child, it is important that if you're not able to bring up the child, you liaise with your parents or rather with the relevant authorities, so that we don't have cases of throwing away children maybe in pet latrines.
Sad indeed. I wish to reserve my comments on that particular story, but may the baby boy grow up to be a healthy man in that society. Still in Kirinyaga County, residents of Gatwe village in Mutira, Kirinyaga County, took to the streets protesting the downgrading of Gatwe Health Center to a dispensary, the health facility that offers services to over 5,000 locals, who was downgraded over what the Department of Health said was rationalization of human resources. David Moneki, a resident, said devolution was meant to bring services closer to people, but reclassifying some facilities is doing the opposite. He claims the reason given are not enough and due process was not followed.
Iye facility inakuanga pale isaidie watu na njia zote. Sio kusema facility ikuwe demoted na a reason of kukosa watu kuzalia hapa.
Hii hospitali yetu wakati ilikuwa health center ilikuwa inahudumia watu wengi sana.
It's a responsibility of the department to think how we do the rationalization. And after we have done that rationalization, there will also be need for us to think about increasing the HRH, that is the health, human resource for health, so that we can be in a position to cater for and improve our services. And therefore, there's a request that we've already placed at Her Excellency's table.
All right, from Kirinyaga County, let us come back to the country's capital, where Kenya is partnering with social media application TikTok to encourage young people to venture into online content creation. This was revealed during a briefing on the forthcoming Youth Connect Africa Summit, which aims to bring together young people from across the continent. The youth will have an opportunity to exchange innovative ideas.
Waziri, I have a lot of respect for you, but I don't think you've got trillions of dollars. The national government of Kenya doesn't have trillions of dollars, and neither does the national government of Ireland. Actually, who has trillions of dollars? It's the global private sector. That's where the rocket fuel for the journey to the Sustainable Development Goals is going to come from. It's from the private sector. And it's from that intersection, that Venn diagram that's already been described by Ara and others this morning, Susan, that brings commercial profit, economic profit, together with social impact and environmental sustainability, what we call the triple bottom line. And to engender that, you need public-private partnership. Now, Kenya's been a leader on public-private partnership for quite a long time, bringing private sector investment into that journey towards sustainable development for all. And I can say this sincerely, I was astonished coming to Kenya.
This is such a momentous week. Yesterday, we started a 7-day countdown to celebrating Kenya at 60. Our amazing country is turning 60 in about a week's time. And it is a moment really for us to make a difference. Making a difference of nearly to really. Nearly inclusive to really inclusive. Nearly empowered to really empowered. Nearly monetization to really monetization. And for me, what you're witnessing here today is such a perfect fruit for our Talanta Hela initiative. And Talanta Hela is all about monetization. Monetization across the creative economy, monetization across sports, and to see us witness consolidation of efforts to turn that space as a stream for sustainable livelihoods. It's absolutely amazing and such a perfect way to celebrate our independence anniversary. There couldn't be a better way.
All right, time to take a short commercial break, but do keep it TV 47. I have more on the other side of the break.
Should not hold out opportunities.
Wanasema wasemao kuwa elimu ni bahari haiishi kwa kuchotwa. Wakati mwingi natangamana na wanafunzi madarasani, sio kama mwalimu bali kama nahodha kwenye kipindi cha tasnia ya elimu. Na iwapo utanikosa madarasani, basi utanipata nyanjani nikisaka habari zenye usawa, ufasaha na ukweli. Na iwapo utanikosa nyanjani, bila shaka utanipata studioni hapa nikisoma habari na kuendesha mijadala mikomavu. Mimi ni Andrin Kilemi, mpenzi wa lugha ya Kiswahili na elimu kwa jumla.
They say money makes... For people, for better.
All right, welcome back and thank you for keeping it at TV 47. Moving on to more news, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is gracing the 63rd Annual Delegates Conference of the Kenya National Union of Teachers, that is KNUT. This comes at a time when Teachers Union is calling on the government to increase capitation funds for primary and secondary schools.
Participation in this meeting underscores our commitment to delivering a development-focused education system that seeks to solve contemporary challenges of our time. To support the implementation of the CBC and other reforms for the education we want, the Ruto administration allocated 27.4% of the first budget to this sector. While the financial aspect provides the structural support, we acknowledge that a vibrant system on the welfare of teachers is the soul of delivering the education we want. Distinguished delegates, it is for this very reason that the Kenya National Union of Teachers was established in 1957 to unite, promote, and protect the welfare and professional interests of its members. 66 years later, we meet here today to not only reflect on the milestones, but also chart the way forward for a stronger, united, and teacher-centered union that supports the government in quality education. One of the key concerns of teachers and NAT has been the burdensome teacher-to-student ratio, which in some places is double the recommended parameters. For varied reasons, there have been concerns over the 1 teacher to 70 students ratio instead of the recommended 1 teacher to 25 students in pre-primary school, 1 teacher to 40 pupils in primary school, and 1 teacher to 35 students in secondary schools. Besides addressing unemployment and promoting quality education, we have employed over 56,000 teachers in the first year in office. This is historic. We are committed to bridging the over 111,000 teachers deficit in the next few years because we want to spur skill-centered sustainable development. This is because we appreciate the fact that achieving the recommended ratio reduces the burden on teachers, directly improving quality. Esteemed teachers and delegates, while we are working on bridging the teacher-to-student ratio, a number of factors cause an imbalance, negatively derailing our desire. Some parts of our country have faced security challenges, which have led to fleeing of teachers, disrupting learning. Some of these areas include the North Rift and the Kenya-Somalia border. We are undertaking a disarmament exercise to rid these areas of criminals. We also understand the value of education, addressing budgetary and other forms of security threats as we progressively move communities from past retrogressive practices. I take this moment to confirm to you that security of the North Rift and other areas prone to terrorism are on our radar and will not relent until peace is restored and the guns are silenced.
Elsewhere, residents of Kaimosi in Vihiga County have filed a petition with the Ministry of Public Service opposing any plans to confirm acting Vice Chancellor of Kaimosi Friends University as the substantive Vice Chancellor. The residents, who are also joined by church leaders, are accusing the acting Vice Chancellor, that is Professor Jack Nandi, of denying area residents job opportunities despite the land where the university sits being donated by the locals. Interviews for the 8 shortlisted nominees for the position of Vice Chancellor are expected to kick off Thursday morning.
VC ambaye amekuwa acting pale amekaa kwa miaka 12 kinyume na sheria ya serikali ya Kenya. The VC pia amekuwa nepotism kwa wingi, ameandika watu wa jamii wake, watu wa ukoo. Hiyo evidence pia tumeileta, nimefile kwa affidavit yangu na nimeweza kuiwakilisha. The VC pia ameweza kuandika watu kazi, watu ambao wana stakabadhi za kutosha, wana academic qualifications za kufanya kazi, wameforge documents. Hizo vitu pia tume-include kwa hii petition.
So tunaomba komiti ambayo inaenda kufanya uchunguzi wa kuteua VC hawa ambao wamechaguliwa 8 watupee VC mwingine mzuri apart from Nandi, manake amekuwa mtu wa kutunyanyaza, anatumia resources zetu kutajirisha watu wengine, na hii ni kiwanda ambacho tulikuwa tunajua kitatusaidia sisi watu wa Vihiga na watu wa Hamisi na haswa sana Shamahoho Ward na Shiru na Muhudu.
Kwa mfano katika petition yangu kuna sehemu ambayo alikosa kulipa deni la milioni 2 la sako la university ya University. Katika petition tumeiweka itakuwa huko.
Na afati maadili ya jamii tumeangalia katika zile petitions ambazo watu wameleta katika sehemu hii, na tunaona kwamba ukienda kwa utendakazi wake tumekuwa na mambo ya corruption mingi, Tumekuwa na mambo ya kuandika watu kazi ambayo inaitwa nepotism, sababu anaandika watu ambaye anajua peke yake.